How we doing out there? Welcome to the Hellopaper.Sports channel, where I cover and talk about all things Chicago Bears. And on the Get Up, I liked they had a little conversation about Ben Johnson unlocking Caleb Williams. So let's get into it.
I want to set up, Graziano, the Ben Johnson sound. Ben Johnson, the new coach in Chicago, everyone excited. Here's what he said about the notion, as was brought up recently and has been over the decades, that Chicago is the place that quarterbacks go to die.
I love it. I love the opportunity to come on in and change that narrative. That's where great stories are written. And so we're looking to write a new chapter here, 2025, and looking forward to the future.
That's what's up, Ben.
But I got to tell you, Michael Wilbon was jumping.
That's what's up, Ben.
That's what you have to have, that kind of belief. And then we can actually have something in that franchise besides running backs and linebackers. So this is what you have to have. And you've got the human capital to now do this, Greeny. So, I like everything Ben Johnson has said so far, including his introductory press conference. His awareness of modern football, which the Bears have not been guilty of, even when they're having terrific seasons, a 12-4 just a few years ago. Ben Johnson's going away from that. So it's so great to hear.
How about Graziano with Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams together?
Yeah, I mean, I believe in both of them in terms of their talent and their ability. I don't know that it happens this year. I think Ben Johnson, in most of his offseason commentary on Caleb Williams and the Bears, has talked about building something, and that takes a little time. I think if you're patient as a Bears fan, which I recognize is not easy considering it's been the place where quarterbacks go to.
I ain't gonna lie, Bear fans. I've been one for over 40 years. Our patience is real thin. I'm sorry. I don't know if a lot of people agree with that, but our stuff is thin. We're trying to win now.
That it'll eventually bear fruit. But I think this is going to be, especially the first half of the season, is going to be a lot about learning and growing into the talent of Caleb Williams. I think Ben Johnson, everybody that's worked with him that I've talked to, believes in his ability to be a great head coach and a great leader. We're all going to find out together.
Mike T, you're one of those people who worked with Ben Johnson.
Sad, man. They sack that boy all them time.
I work with Ben, and he believes in fundamentals. And when you look at what Caleb Williams needs to do, guys, in the NFL, the first thing you have to do is stop losing games. And when your quarterback is sacked 68 times,
a lot.
Hemo gave me a great stat. When you look at Jared Goff over the last 3 years in Detroit with Ben Johnson, his average time to throw was 2.72 seconds. He will get rid of the ball fast. Look for guys like Colston Loveland, their first-round pick, to be highly productive. They added 3 offensive linemen in free agency. They added Ozzie Trapillo in the draft. They've given Caleb Williams every chance to get better. I believe he will under Ben Johnson.
Yes, he will.
I don't want to get into all the details again. I have gone over this over and over again. But the first thing that I think Ben Johnson has to do with Caleb is deprogram him of all of the nonsense that happened last year. The Bears, if they had set out to sabotage their young quarterback, couldn't have done a better job of it than they did last season. And so my question to you, Neek, is how easy is that to do? Like, are you starting from zero, or are you starting from somewhere behind zero when you start working with Caleb Williams in year 2?
Man, you gotta start from what you got. He went through a lot last year. That was a learning experience. Now you gotta get to winning. Simple as that. With Ben Johnson, he should get on a straightforward path. You gotta start with the fundamentals anyway.
As good as it looks on paper on the field, then all the things that we're worried about go away. Like, you get to be an offensive genius when your O-line is successful. You get to do more complex schemes. Your quarterback gets to be comfortable in the pocket and take longer to make decisions. Everything gets easier, and deprogramming your quarterback, it's a lot easier when he's not constantly under pressure. When
yes.
the ball to take pressure off of him. So I think
every time he hiked the damn ball, he getting sacked.
Defense can tackle and their offensive line can block, then I think everything will be much better, because that's what we saw work out for them in Detroit with Ben Johnson as the offensive coordinator, and the same thing will work out in Chicago, because it works everywhere in the whole history of football. Block and tackle.
The voice of the Bears fans is sitting in our room. What do you expect from him and from them this season, Michael Wilbon?
I like what Grass said. He talks about building, and he's very careful in talking about building. Ben Johnson is. And the Bears' schedule is brutal. I believe I've read this week that it's either, depending on what you read, the second, third, or fourth most difficult schedule in the NFL. With that said, the Bears lost 5 games last year on the final play or overtime. 5. So let's just do some math with that in addition to what they win, 5 games total.
Yeah.
And it was a mess. They were inadequately coached. They're not going to be inadequately coached on the offensive side of the ball this year. So you can have a massive improvement. It doesn't mean they're going to win 12 or 13 games. It doesn't. They're in a completely difficult division, the best in the sport.
Yeah.
But I will say this, we're not impatient.
Right.
We're not. Because we've never had anything to say, okay, we got to have this quarterback. That's not that fan base.
You've only waited 100 years. Graziano, final word.
Yeah, look, I think it's important to note that Caleb Williams did spend last year as a starting quarterback in the NFL. There is benefit to that. Even if you can rip the coaching all you want, they've all been fired. We all know the story. But whatever he took from last year in terms of the negatives and the positives of starting a full year in the NFL offers Ben Johnson some ground on which to do that building. And I think you see the good moves. Dennis Allen as defensive coordinator is an outstanding selection by Ben Johnson. He can take care of that side of it and let Ben work with Caleb and the offense and manage the big picture. But I think you have to like the steps that the Bears have taken since Ben Johnson got there, and you also have to acknowledge that there are a few more still to take.
I agree. Look, it is a city that produced a pope before it produced a 4,000-yard passer. And the Bears have been around since the 1920s.
McNown to Trubisky. The quarterback position has been a century-long moving target in the city of Chicago. Last week, old reporting resurfaced that now Bears quarterback Caleb Williams' camp was not thrilled with the idea of landing in Chicago. Williams' father, Carl, saying, quote, "That's where quarterbacks go to die." Fast forward 14 months, it's a new coach for that QB, Ben Johnson, addressing a historic opportunity.
I love it. I love it. I love the opportunity to come on in and change that narrative. That's where great stories are written. And so we're looking to write a new chapter here, 2025 Chicago Bears, and looking forward to the future.
Story comes out last week. Is that something that you felt obligated to talk to Caleb about and to talk about where he's coming from there?
Have we talked about it? Yeah, we talked about it last week after it came out, but he's his own man. He's going to be treated as such. I think we're both really looking forward to turning the page on years prior and focusing on the here and now. It's still early. It's still early. We're getting to know each other. He's been in the building 6 weeks now, 6.5 weeks now, and getting to know him on a personal level. And the more time we spend together, the better I feel. We got a great coaching staff around him as well, with JT Barrett leading the charge. Declan's in the room. Press Taylor's in the room. So we've got some good seasoned voices in there. And then you bring in a guy like Case Keenum. He does a great job.
Bear fans, don't he make you feel confident that moving forward we gonna succeed? I know I do. Shout out to Big B in the win.
His experience bridging that gap sometimes between coaching and playing, and finding any potholes that could be in there. So I feel really good about the mix around him, and that allows the relationship just to naturally form.
Feels like a far more robust infrastructure around the quarterback in Caleb Williams. And consider this. Last year, the rookie quarterback threw for 3,541 yards, 20 touchdowns, just 6.
That let you know right there, Bear fans. Man, he threw for 3,500 yards. And look how incompetent our coaching was. And he still threw for 3,500 yards. That's why I got so much faith in this kid. But I believe in my bones he's going to bring us multiple Super Bowls. I'm talking about multiple. That's not one. That's not two. 3 or better. And up. He going for GOAT stuff as a Chicago Bear. But I thought that'd be interesting to all Bear fans and all Bear haters. With that being said, blessing to you haters and blessing to all Bear fans, and bear down. Like and subscribe.